Rich Eisen, NFL Network host and host of the Rich Eisen Show on Roku and NFL Game Day morning. Also, the Rich Eisen Show Monday through Fridays at noon Eastern on Roku. He'll be on the call Jags-Bills in London. Kickoff will be 9:30 a.m. Eastern. And Ricardo joins us from London. How long do you think you would be in London before you would pick up a British accent?
I think I'm going to have to stay for a while for that. I still have the New York accent in me, Dan. You just have to cut me off in traffic for that to happen.
Okay.
I just got to London about 3 hours ago, so cheerio, mate. I'm just it's gonna have to. By the way, it sounds like Paulie's gonna have to turn vegan based on what I just heard.
Yeah, this is a pretty big bet that they put a lot on the line with Meat Friday, and then the Bears. I don't know if you're covering this on NFL Game Day morning, but it seems like it's a pretty big deal that the Bears against the Commanders. Who do you like tonight?
Yeah. I like the Commanders, Dan. I'm going on a very thick limb on that one. I like Sam Howell and his bedhead and the rest of this team, certainly against the Bears on a short week where I don't know what in the world. They're the most disappointing team of 2023 as far as I'm concerned. I know there's another 0-4 team. I know there's a lot of 1-3 teams that might take that, but for them to stick with Justin Fields, get him DJ Moore, make these changes, and now come in tonight 0-4, short week looking at 0-5. I didn't expect that to happen.
But see, I look at the Bengals as more disappointing than the Bears because the expectation was the Bengals could go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but I guess the caveat there would be the injury that Burrow suffered in the summer and them having to make the decision to sit him or not, sort of the Jamar Chase plan to keep him out for the first month of the season. And now they have no choice looking at the first month of the season where you have to figure, would they have gone 1-3 with Jake Browning? And so here they are with that horse sort of out of the barn. He doesn't have an injury designation this week. So maybe they're speaking it into existence because he certainly doesn't look the same to me.
Yeah, I said this a couple of weeks ago. If the doctor said he will be, measurably better, then sit him down until the bye week. And maybe he could be healthier now, but you watch them play and he's holding them back. He can't throw the ball over 10 yards. He's not, most of his attempts are under 10 yards. And that's a pretty good explosive offense, and you're not able to utilize that. So would you get in a hole in your division? Absolutely, if he didn't play until the bye week. But is it going to matter if after the bye week in that division? Baltimore might be the class of that division, and I just don't think playing Joe Burrow. Now you got to go to Arizona. Arizona is frisky, so there's no guarantee that they're going to win that game.
And the Ravens, if they beat the Steelers, they're not only on top of the division with 3 division wins, all of them would be on the road. They've already won at Cleveland and at Cincinnati, and this would give them a win at Pittsburgh and a huge leg up just 5 weeks in. But listen, this is a wide open conference, I think. It's a wide open league. Obviously you got the Niners and the Cowboys on Sunday night just to see if the Cowboys can measure up to a team like San Francisco, but I really do think it's anybody's league for a great handful of teams, Dan.
You got an idea of who the Jags are and who the Bills are going into this game on Sunday morning?
I have a much better sense of who the Bills are. You've seen it the last 3 weeks. And the Jaguars, I just don't know. We're seeing them Saturday morning for the first time. And they'll have a significant advantage of being the first team to play a second consecutive week in London. And the Bills are getting in today. They're landing just now. So that is an advantage just in terms of the game. But in terms of Jacksonville and who they are, no, sir. I don't have that sense. But the Bills have won 3 straight games in boat race fashion. And I do believe that they are the best team right now in the AFC. You want to call them the most complete team, the team that's got a leg up and Pro Bowlers all over the lot. And certainly if they played the Chiefs right now, I think the Chiefs would have a significant disadvantage.
Rich Eisen will be on the call coming up on Sunday morning. The Bills and Jags kick off at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Also his show Monday through Friday, The Rich Eisen Show at noon Eastern on Roku. Most valuable player on the Niners team is who?
I'm gonna go off the board here, Dan. I'm gonna say Brock Purdy. I'm going Brock Purdy here, not just because of the way he's playing, but because of the way that he's playing. You don't hear the words Trey and Lance ever anymore. End of story. Whatever the Niners gave up for Trey Lance, whatever they couldn't get out of Trey Lance, normally that would send the coach and the general manager to the unemployment line. Instead, they both got contract extensions.
Yeah.
That's because Brock Purdy plays the way that he plays. Also, the value is not just figurative, it's literal. The amount of money that they get to pay so many others because of the contract. He's the last pick in the draft doing this, Dan. And so he is terrific. And I know McCaffrey's scoring like crazy. And I know Fred Warner and Bosa are doing what they're doing on that side of the ball. But Brock Purdy is just spectacular. And so many people don't believe it because he looks like he's going to a civil engineering class instead of coming for you and your defense. And I think we're going to see it again Sunday night.
Yeah, I agree with you. He can be the most valuable player on his own team, but Christian McCaffrey will be in, consideration for the MVP league-wise. But what kind of numbers? I mean, it's a quarterback award, but could you see numbers that if McCaffrey puts up this and this, that he could be the MVP?
I think what you do is, voters will just split it. There's an Offensive Player of the Year award. And so that's usually the MVP.
I hate
it's
that.
Not a quarterback.
Yeah, I know. I hate
it's
that.
The cop-out.
It is.
It's the cop-out.
Yeah.
It's a total cop-out. But that's the way the voters normally do this sort of thing. Hey, listen, again, you cannot discount the way that Purdy is playing and how it has taken the pressure off, the lid off, if there was such a thing. I don't think there was, because Jed York loves his coach and his general manager, and for good reasons. But the fact that, Trey Lance, you trade up all that to go take somebody third overall, and he's not ready to play, and you go ahead and you have Brock Purdy to play. Take a look at what the Jets. Zach Wilson was taking a pick before Trey Lance, and the Jets are hopefully going to get another good game out of Zach. 2 consecutive games from Zach Wilson of significant leadership and play. They haven't had that yet. And the Niners are starting 4-0 with Mr. Irrelevant, if you will, being the most relevant player for them, I believe. That's, and that's fully understanding what McCaffrey's looked like. 18 touchdowns in his first 18 games as a Niner. That I would say is a significant contribution, DP.
We broached this topic yesterday.
Yes,
if I sent Fritzy to Bill Belichick's press conference yesterday, and he asked the following question.
Yes.
In spite of all the winning and all the Super Bowl trophies, what would you say to those who say you're on the hot seat right now, Bill?
How do you think Bill would? Is that a fair question to ask Belichick?
How would you ask it one more time, because you need to really make sure. First of all, it's not a yes or no question, which is what for some reason everyone asks Bill Belichick about 80% of the time.
Yeah.
So that's a good sentence structure. Give it to me one more time.
In spite of all the winning and all the Super Bowls and everything you've accomplished in New England, what would you say to those who say you're on the hot seat right now with the Patriots?
Just preparing for New Orleans, and they have a tough defense, and that's for you guys to decide.
By the way, this is an actual sound. This is Rich doing his Bill Belichick.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah,
I thought that's not what you didn't want me to role play. Dan?
No, we role play, but I didn't know if you could we.
That's basically what his answer would be. I mean, he would, you just, shrug his teeth. First of all, I think that would lead to. What's the over under on the number of awkward silent seconds there? I would say probably a good 4 to 5. You'd hear room tone. You'd hear a lot of good room tone.
Yeah.
You'd hear the buzz of the lights and maybe some air conditioning vents, and then he would answer that way.
But let's say they went 5-12, Rich.
Yeah.
Now,
then what would happen?
Yeah.
I would definitely think that Robert Kraft would have a conversation with Bill Belichick. that would be a coin flip whether they are still employee and employer. That it's entirely possible that Belichick would be done in New England at 5-12 and going in a completely different direction.
But how
That's
important do
Sorry.
you think it is for Robert Kraft to have Belichick become the all-time victory leader while being his head coach in New England?
Oh, I think it's very important. But how many times in our world do we see, teams staying together with their player or coach for the sake of a milestone, and it doesn't really help things in the long term, in the long run. So, and again, I don't know what Belichick's desire would be to stick around there anymore, or what a 5-12 season would lead to for him. Honestly, nobody can really read that situation at all. That said, they do have some winnable games on the horizon. And I just cannot believe the team that we saw get eviscerated by the Cowboys is the way that things are going to go. The problem is, though, now that I come to think of it, Matt Judon's out, and so is their stud rookie. But put it all together, I think there's a good chance they're still 500 in a couple weeks, Dan.
Good.
You don't? Oh, I just interrupted your goodbye. I didn't mean to do that, Dan.
Yeah.
Did I disrupt your flow?
Yeah, go
right there.
Kind of finish your thought, and then I'll do it again.
No, I asked you if you thought that they were
good
done.
to talk to you, Rich.
Okay.
Good to talk to you.
All right, DP, take care of yourself.
All right. Rich Eisen from London. He'll be on the call coming up this weekend. Early for us, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. It's Jags and Bills. Also, Rich, his show, The Rich Eisen Show. Monday through Friday, noon Eastern on Roku.